Hi, it's Tara. Today I want to talk about this growing hypersensitivity that we have in our relationships with other people, this lack of tolerance that we have for diversity and for differences of opinions, and this quickness to be reactive and judgmental to one another. I think it's really eroding our relationships in person. I think it's having a huge impact and is a huge distraction in our lives online. I think it's easier to do it online, and I think that's the first place that we're seeing the impacts of this. I know that one comedian was talking about how difficult it is to be funny these days because people are so hypersensitive. On one side of that, it's good that we don't think sexist, racist, demeaning humor is funny anymore to a certain extent, because I don't think that we realize how many people might have been truly hurt by some of the things that we thought were funny. In the rape culture that we live in now, and work that I do in helping heal those people, there's a huge impact of people making jokes about it, or really reacting to if a woman says something passionate online. What happens is we often get really hostile, vile feedback about rapey things that men want to do to us because they disagree with what our stance is, and it's inappropriate. It's never been funny, and we're starting to see huge consequences socially because of that. So there's movement in a positive direction. On the flip side of that, we have become hypersensitive. I don't know what you can make a joke about anymore without hurting somebody's feelings. Part of the problem is that we have become desensitized to each other and have a lowering of compassion because of all the electronic mediums that we use to communicate with each other. You would say things on text or online or in comments on a forum to strangers or to people that you know even that you wouldn't say to them in person, because it's very different to say something in a comment box and hit enter and really not see the person as a person that's receiving it. And a completely different thing to be in front of somebody and have a conversation or an argument or a disagreement. You're supposed to be able to disagree with people without it being violent or hostile or name calling. But to be able to have those conversations and see the impact of your words on another person, you see the hurt on their face or their change in their posture, or you see them well up in tears, and it changes you. It impacts the way that communication, that conversation is going to continue to go, and it should. When we are talking to people primarily through electronics, we're missing that. And so we're becoming really cutthroat. Beyond the cutthroat and the judgment that we're putting on other people, it's really hypocrisy, because we don't want to be judged back, because we're hypersensitive about that feedback we're putting out coming back on us. And so we have this kind of circle of rejection and hypersensitivity and being insulted and being defensive and name calling, and it's all become very negative. So then to respond to that, in this negativity, we're encouraged to eliminate negative feedback, negative influence, negative people from our lives. So instead of trying to create diversity or to create conversations that are grown up and mature, we just cut people out of our lives. If I don't like what you have to say, I can unfollow you, I can block you, I can completely cut you out of my life, instead of having a conversation with you that's going to grow either of us in any way. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to really start self-censoring and self-policing to see where you have become hypersensitive. What makes you feel really defensive? Are you able to tolerate diversity and difference of opinion without being hostile, offended, wounded? How are you working to increase your tolerance in this area? We want to all be accepted for who we are, good and bad. We crave for people to see all of us and love and accept all of us, and yet we are really reticent to do that to another person. We're very critical of other people and judgmental of their lives without really taking a look at our own. I know that every judgment I've ever put on another person has always boomeranged back and hit me in the face and challenged me to have more compassion for people, have more understanding. I do want you to set good boundaries in your life. I do want you to eliminate negative people and be selective and specific about people that you're inviting and protecting into your tribe. But in that, I want you to be really careful that you're not cutting people out just because they're not clones of you. You will cease to grow if you don't have people in your life that have difference, that challenge you, that sometimes disagree with you. I want you to start practicing having conversations with people that are balanced and diplomatic and thoughtful and non-reactive, where you're showing a sense of self-control and compassion and openness. This is where you're going to grow. This is where we're all going to grow. We have forgotten that this is not about who's right all the time, and that means that you have to be wrong. We're feeding our egos in really unhealthy ways right now, and missing the fact that this existence is about connecting with other people, walking with each other, growing with each other, and having depth. We're missing all of that right now, and this is one of the areas it's showing up in, being really hypersensitive, really reactive, super defensive, and cutting people out. That's not boundaries. That's intolerance. That's an inability to tolerate anything other than what you say and believe and behave like. And I don't know how human that is anymore. I think it's really, we're losing this part of our humanity. I'm going to encourage you and challenge you to start bringing awareness to your life, where you're at, where you measure up in these areas, and see where you can have some expansion, have some growth, be better. You can be better. We can all be better. I hope you're well. Until next time.